The latest Pompey news, updates every day from the Pompey Sound news desk.
John MOUSINHO on the likely team to face Birmingham.
We will take a view on team selection. Based on what we think Birmingham will produce, we're going to try to win the game and pick the team off the back of there. However, there's that focus on next season. We know who is in the building next year. The loan players have been excellent for us and given us absolutely everything, but at Stoke we decided to take those out and give the contracted players a bit of a show. A chance to play. Nico has had a season where he's played every game when available, so it was also to give him that break. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for Joe. We wanted to have a look at Hayden. Regan was absolutely running on empty for the past few weeks. Harvey is one of those we haven't quite been ready to start again, and when there has been a huge amount on it. We've been ready to bring him on when we are losing, but on Saturday we wanted to see how he reacted to a situation like that, which was important. The other change was Luke Leroux. He has been incredibly unlucky to not play more games. He was excellent against Norwich, but I thought Stoke was his best performance in a Pompey shirt. Then last season, having secured safety with 2 matches remaining, MOUSINHO dropped Matt Ritchie and Adil Ochiech, instead giving Harvey Blair and Terry Devlin starts. This is the 3rd season on a spin where we've had that luxury.
John MOUSINHO talking about the kind of things that are running through his mind as he prepares to pick a team to start against Birmingham without actually telling us in any way, shape or form what the team is going to be. He likes to keep his teams close to his chest. He says he likes to see what the opposition are putting in front of him before he makes his final selections. He talks about wanting to give players who have been his ever-presents, or virtually ever-present, throughout the season as much rest as possible. He's talking about wanting to give players who are often described as fringe players a chance to express themselves and show what they can do. And he's, to a certain extent, always experimenting, always as interested as anybody else is as to how his ideas actually work out in practice on the pitch. So no firm news about who's going to play and who's not going to play in our last game of the season, but the word is we want to win it. We want to end the season in style, but we are mainly thinking about next season already, of course. Here's John MOUSINHO talking about some of the changes that need to be made at Portsmouth during the coming summer.
There always is excess fat to trim from the squad, there always is. Very rarely will you get to the summer and not want to make some changes. Players are going to naturally want to move on. Players who've not had a huge amount of playing time are going to want to move on and progress their careers. That's absolutely fine. We are going to take a view on players who we think are ready for the Championship next year and players who aren't. That is going to be a conversation that every football club has. With the place we're in at the moment, there might be a few more than we'd like. It's because of the short-term nature of how we've been going about our business. So how do we break out of that cycle? It's really difficult to break out of that cycle. That's because we aren't all of a sudden going to say we're going to sign 20-year-olds for the future. You have to get that mix and have that experience we need in the side.
John MOUSINHO on trimming down the squad. It's an interesting insight into the way he manages his players, isn't it, to hear him say that he persuades them, it seems to me anyway, he persuades them that it is in their best interest to look elsewhere because they're not getting the game time that they need in order to develop their careers and achieve their full potential. And that's a really positive way of telling somebody something which, when you boil it down, is pretty negative, isn't it? But you've got to have good management technique in order to achieve that. And it seems as though, along with his many other credentials, he's got that in buckets. What's all this about? John MOUSINHO and a move to Bristol City?
Transfer rumours are already beginning to circulate, and it begins to look increasingly inevitable that rumours about the future of John MOUSINHO will also start to emerge. And it's not for the first time that the West Country outfit have been linked with Portsmouth's enormously popular head coach, and as their managerial difficulties continue, it appears certain and soon, if they haven't happened already, Bristol City are not big spenders but almost certainly have considerably more cash to splash than does Stretton Park. Under the guidance of the legendary and heroic Roy Hodgson, they haven't won a game in their last 4 matches. Although they picked up a commendable point drawing 2 apiece at Southampton, they lost heavily at home to Norwich. City were beaten by Birmingham and held QPR to a goalless draw there. The owner is billionaire financial services provider Stephen Lansdowne, who founded the firm Hargreaves Lansdowne, with Peter Hargreaves. He is a founder of Bristol Sport and a majority shareholder of Bristol Bears, Bristol Flyers and Bristol City Football Club. As per his job description, he images his considerable wealth and assets with great care, but understands the importance of investment as well as staying pennywise.
Yes, he is an impressive individual, and it's only 10 minutes by plane from Southampton Airport to Guernsey, where he lives, and he owns large bits of Guernsey, or at least manages large bits of Guernsey. He's an extremely wealthy man, and these people are used to success, and they want success, and so he will be looking for the best. But it looks as though he may have to settle for Steve Cooper, a Welsh man, football manager, former player, currently manages the Danish Superliga club Brøndby. Started his coaching career at Wrexham Academy whilst playing as a defender in the Welsh Football League. He did not paint the town red when he was a player, but then nor did John Mousinho scale the highest heights as a player, and his achievements as a manager to date, I think, don't match the achievements of John Mousinho, and he certainly hasn't created the profile of enormous respect and love almost that has developed between Pompey fans and John Mousinho. But Mr. Lansdowne may have to settle for him, because our understanding is that John Mousinho is under contract with Portsmouth, and that contract almost inevitably contains considerable mention of what might happen if somebody comes looking for him, and he feels as though the move is worth his while. Pompey will benefit from it, but not as much as they will lose by losing the services of a man who is already being described as among the greatest managers Pompey have ever had. I would venture to say the best, but that's a personal opinion. Each is entitled to their own, most of the time.